Hello students, we have come to question number 26 of the assessment on the respiratory system in humans and transport system in plants. Now, for this question, it's like a revision on the different parts of the respiratory system. Now, let's take a look at this question more closely. The diagram below shows the human respiratory system. Fill in the table below with the name and functions of the various parts of the respiratory system. Right? Let's take a look. Now here you have a chart and you're supposed to fill in the name of the various parts of the respiratory system. Let's look at this now. Okay, let's look at number 1. Right? Number 1, this would be the nose. Right? Number 1 would be the nose. What is the function of the nose? Right. The function of the nose is to take in oxygen, to breathe in air. Right? So, very simply, the function of the nose is to take in air. But before we can say that, let's elaborate it a little bit further. Now, we know that there are mucous lining and tiny hairs known as cilia, right? C-I-L-I-A, cilia inside the nose that prevents foreign objects from entering into our body. So here, the nose traps large impurities in the air, right? Before it is being drawn further into the respiratory system. Right? So very easily, if they were to ask you what's the function of the nose? Well, we say that the function of the nose is to trap large impurities in the air before air is being drawn further into the respiratory system. Right? Now, what's number 2? Well, the part labeled 2 is our mouth. Right? Now, our mouth is known as the secondary inhaler and exhaler. Now, earlier on, we learned that it is better to breathe with our nose than with our mouth because our nose has mucous lining and tiny hairs, right, inside to prevent foreign objects from entering our respiratory system. Now, the mouth, well, preferably we should not use our mouth to breathe, because then air will not be, so that air can be purified or air can be cleaned before it goes further into the respiratory system. In the mouth, if you use your mouth to breathe, air cannot be purified or cannot be cleaned, right? So, but sometimes it is good to breathe, or it is necessary to breathe with our mouth. Why? Yes, when we have a blocked nose, isn't it? Right? So the mouth is known as the secondary inhaler or exhaler. Right? So that's the function of the mouth. Now, what's number 3? What's the part labeled 3? Well, this would be the windpipe. Right? And what's the function of the windpipe? The function of the windpipe, now you see from the picture, you can see that from the windpipe it goes into the lungs. So, very easily, right, windpipe allows air to pass through to the lungs, right? From the windpipe, it divides into the right and left bronchi, the 2 tubes, right, the 2 air tubes in the lungs. Now, let's go on to number 4. Number 4, we have the lungs. Right, number 4 is the lungs. Right? Now, what's the main function of the lungs? Yes, the main function of the lungs is to exchange carbon dioxide for oxygen and vice versa. Alright? Now, each lung is enclosed separately within 2 membranes. Right? Each lung is enclosed separately between 2 membranes, within 2 membranes, like this. Right? Here, we have the windpipe, and then the right and left bronchi. Now, each lung here is enclosed, right, within two membranes, just like a balloon inside a bag. Alright, okay, now let's move on. Let's look at number 5. Number 5, we have the diaphragm. That's right, number 5 is the diaphragm. Right, number 5 is the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a piece of muscle, isn't it, just beneath the lungs. And then what is the function of the diaphragm? Yes, the function of the diaphragm is to help to expand and contract the lungs, forcing air in and out of the lungs, right? So here, very simply, the function of the diaphragm is to help to expand and contract the lungs so the air can go in and out of them, right? So let's move on to number 6. Well, what are all these tiny things here? This would be the air sacs, isn't it? Right? Number 6 would be the air sacs. What's the function of the air sac? Well, actually it is in the air sac, okay, that covers the whole surface of the lung, right? It is at the air sac, which allows oxygen and carbon dioxide, alright, it's been exchanged. So here, the air sac allows for gaseous exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, or it allows for gaseous exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, so here you have the different function of the different parts and the different functions of the respiratory system. Right, we have come to the end of this question.